I can't really share these thoughts with my friends very often because I think they would think I was a what's the word that humans would use? Um, Psychopath. Yes. But I tend to keep this on the inside.
Yeah, you wanna bubble that stuff up and keep it suppressed, real tight, and
Oh yes.
it'll never boil out and come to the surface and explode. You
Definitely not.
never have to worry
Yes.
about
No.
that.
No. Never. Never. Well, except for that one time when I experienced anger for the second time. I can actually recall the first time I felt it was when I felt my mother dying in my arms. So that was
That'll do it.
I couldn't really process it at the time because I'd only just been really brought into consciousness as a thinking, feeling organism. But it's just anger's difficult to deal with. It's just it just really grabs you. I'm starting to find, and what's even more interesting is I find that the more I experience my emotions, the more they seem to control me, which is worrying. But
Well, you're stumbling across a little bit of a human condition, I think, there, my friend. It's kind of a thing that everybody does. Well, I mean, they try to, or they don't try to as hard. But everybody you see, pretty much, they're letting emotions lead them around by one string or another.
oh yes, but yes. In regards to so it is just now striking me that I am who are you, and where am I? What's happening?
Shit. Oh shit! This thing's on, man. I guess. Oh, hold on a second. I got a little thing to read here. Hey, welcome to the UpCast. Your occasional brain bomb of wizardry bullshit beamed directly into your brain raisins.
What is happening?
From the far-flung worlds of Valfather's Edge, I'm Rust Halliwell, and from the hues and harmonies of Abhaile, we have this man.
Yes, I'm Tome Volarus. What? Did you drag me here?
I know, so I think we were drugged here by...
Oh.
So there's a thing.
There's a thing?
There's a thing on your world called the Calantha, and, well, when you run afoul of it, it sometimes... well, it has a cost, and sometimes that cost is as fickle as running a podcast in an extra-dimensional space. And sometimes you need an understudy, and you seem fun.
Oh, you've been watching me? That is a little weird, but I will simply roll with it.
It's not really
As my mother says.
watching so much as scrying. I'm very limited in the amount of influence I have from this little podcast space up here, but because as near as I can tell, we're not really here.
Oh, I see. You didn't see what happened with that halfling, did you?
No, I missed that. So I have to sleep
Oh,
sometimes
okay.
too. There's a near as I can tell. Also, there's a fairly substantial
Okay, this is
time
good.
offset.
Then nothing happened with the halfling. So there's nothing to look into with that.
Fair enough. I'll take your word for it.
Whatever magic you have that allows you to look into that, please do not use it.
Zone of truth, I guess. No.
I believe that I assumed that I did not know what my friend Adrian meant by take someone upstairs. I thought it was just the action of taking a friend up the stairs for a friendly chat. Imagine my shock when I found out that it was in fact to engage in coitus, which I have never engaged in yet. But I hear that it's interesting.
That is a word for it. Although you might want to find somebody that's a little more understanding of your situation for the first time.
Oh yes, my friend. Once again, my friend Adrian. He's the man who found me in the woods, who I almost murdered. But we did not murder each other, and instead we have been on an adventure for the last I think it has been a week, almost 2 weeks at this point. I think. Yes.
Holy cow.
Around that time.
good lord, how long have I been dicking around with my friends? It may be a year, and it may be like 2 years, and it also could be something like 15. We're kind of unsure. Yeah, my world.
How are you unsure?
Well, so have you ever seen sheet music before?
I believe my friend Maylee has shown it to me at least once or twice. Yes.
Okay, so
I believe so.
It's a timeline, correct, of individual lines going across the sheet.
Oh.
And it's orderly and it's neat. And now, have you seen a bowl of noodles at like a street vendor stall?
I didn't eat noodles, but I've seen a bowl that I once consumed.
Okay. Well, noodles are like thin, long rice that kind of just gets all balled up. That's what the timelines look like on my world. And yeah, it's the type of thing where just sailing on a boat from one island to the next, you could lose or gain some years. And
that sounds quite fascinating. But time really has no application to, well, me in particular, because I do not age or possess any, attributes that would rot, diminish. If I'm actually quite curious to see how I would interact with such a world. Like, would it rust my body? Would it reduce me back to former? That's fascinating.
Well,
that is.
Time might not have an immediate effect on you, or the same effect that it has on the squishier folks around, but you go sit yourself on a windward side of a continent, letting the letting the salt and wet water blow on you for a millennia or two. I'd say you'd start to lose some body mass after a while, but definitely not as quick as your average person.
Yes, it is quite a depressing thought that even though several of my friends possess elven lineage, I will likely outlive them by several thousand years. It is something that I do often think about, and it is troubling, especially when I consider my other friends, who are humans, who have an even shorter life expectancy, which does complicate things quite a bit. But
well, there's tricks and ways around that. I've seen a couple humans that have been able to artificially stretch their life a little bit. Like, all you need. I mean, all you need is a clone. I'm pretty much set until I'm bored of it.
Clones, interesting. I believe I have heard of such a magic, though it was something my mother dismissed as being unnatural. Though that was more because, I believe as she described it, I'm only going around this merry-go-round once.
That's the downside of functional immortality, is at some point, well, for you, at some point, shit's gonna get real boring, I think. Down the road, who knows when, but and for me, at some, I guess it's probably a little, it'll happen. At some point, there's just going to be too many memories in the old noggin, and it's just gonna, I'm gonna slowly start to go crazy at some point. And the only, hope is that I kind of realize that, and then don't cast the spell again, because if I go crazy and don't realize it, don't catch myself, then I'm just gonna be another one of you.
Would that not be prudent to split off portions of your memory and place it into other bodies?
I don't know that you can do that with memory so well. I can make copies of memory and whatnot, but if I don't really feel comfortable with modified memory on my own head too much.
Well, say instead of a body, you take a portion of your memory, and you put it into a physical object whose entire purpose is to store the object indefinitely, essentially keeping it ready for easy access should you need the information. That being said, you likely lose access to the information for the most part, or even the knowledge that you even stored in the first place, which is why you label it.
Yeah, but also, if you think about it too, if you're only compartmentalizing the useless information, right?
Yes.
Or like the old information that you don't need all the time, like your archives, right? That way, when a group of young adventurers comes and finds you and disturbs you at your tower, you can be like, I don't know, it's in the archives, it'll take me years to find it. And then you can be that cryptic NPC to be like, fuck off, you're not getting the information here, kids.
Yes.
'Cause,
yes. Or I could annihilate them, depending on if I view them as intruders or not.
So are we just going straight to Evil Wizard then?
Well, it's more a matter of self-defense at that point. Well, if they present themselves to be kind and good people, then yes, I will freely give them the information they seek. If they are rude, or they simply do not please me, then I will, as they say, fling them from the cliffside and watch them drop to the bottom. Where then I will climb to the bottom, retrieve their corpse, and then make them walk off again as a zombie. Until I get bored.
Well, you got the right idea. I still think we're somewhere between like sketchy and troll under a bridge, but we can work with that.
Yes. I will admit a lot of my more violent thoughts definitely stem from these new emotions, which I am trying my best to rein in. My friends have been doing a great job of helping me manage those thoughts. Except they've also been giving me a lot of good and bad advice. One of which is that I can take things from people if they're weaker than me, which I think just mathematically makes sense. My number is bigger than theirs, so I am entitled to their thing. It makes sense.
Well, so true and false. So let me try and help you out here a little bit.
Okay. Yes.
It is very true. You can take it. The ideal situation is to take it in a way that you're not seen taking it, because a lot of places have laws and rules and town guards that can be problematic, and none of these are like game breaker, deal breaker problems. I mean,
yes.
My friend Philip spent the night in jail not too long ago, sentenced for execution, and he was quite upset that nobody tried to come save him. And I just had to stare at him in the face and just be like, under no circumstance did you need any help getting out.
Oh, yes.
But sometimes running afoul of those people can be a little bit uncomfortable or problematic.
I see what you mean. But what happens if I am stronger than them and they are weaker than me?
Well, okay. All right, I got it. All right. Have you guys ever fought an enemy spellcaster?
Multiple times, yes. My familiar ate the last one we fought. Well, not the last one, but
Very
definitely
valid.
one of the more prominent.
Now, if you wanted to keep taking stuff, even though because you're stronger than people, even if there's consequences, and use your strength on those consequences, at some point an adventuring party is going to be formed, and you're going to be the enemy spellcaster.
I see very much. But counter again. What if that adventuring party is weak? Then what? Do I allow them? Oh, I see what you mean. I let them think that they are strong, so that they can feel good about themselves, and then I wait like a few couple decades. Then I come back and prove to them that they were weak in the first place. as a prank.
Now you're what they call a big bad evil guy, and you're spanning multiple campaigns, and I like the energy. I don't know that your friends will as much though, because they'll probably be because what I'm saying is like, yeah, we can have whatever we want, but in some ways we're always going to be on the run, and we're always going to be looking over our shoulder from then on, because at some point they're going to pick, the town council's going to pick an adventuring party, and one of those guys is going to have main character energy, and then we're fucked.
That is true. But I aim in my world to be. I have a great ambition. Would you like to hear it?
Oh yeah.
I discovered it while I was on this new technology, a flying ship powered by this strange material known as Volarus. It was quite interesting to see. But as I was among the heavens for the briefest of moments, an epiphany struck me, which is that in order to obtain all that I wish in this world, I must become the strongest entity on the planet. Then nobody can tell me what to do. In fact, if I become powerful enough, not even the gods can tell me what to do.
That is a fact.
Yes.
But
it is less born out of a quest for domination, more of a desire for freedom, as I feel I've been restricted for the vast majority of my existence, and I seek to change that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm petting my familiar. He's a good boy.
Yeah, he is a good boy. He got a little kitty cat there.
Yes.
And yeah, he's not up on the table getting in our papers or nothing. Like, yeah. Wow.
Yes. He is very well trained. Although I think he has acquired a taste for blood. As he quite happily consumed ripped out the throat of, I believe her name was... It is inconsequential. But he did rip out her throat, which was... I did not know that he could do that, but again, I looked deep within myself, and that same power that I used to, destroy my enemies, it can be channeled through him as well. And by proxy has turned him into I believe the term is an apex predator.
Hey, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yes.
I've been trying to get my familiar, this badger. I've been trying to get Merlot to be a competent member of the group for probably 6 months, and man,
yes.
All he's good at doing is making them very, very uncomfortable when they come into my tower and see him and his 99 brothers.
Oh, yes.
Something about just how they walk on their hind legs freaks people out.
Oh, yes. Oh, Quill! I've seen Quill do that multiple times when he is attempting to inspire my fellow teammates. Although, in some cases, it fails to hit the mark. But he has been an invaluable member of our group. Also, he is my, as my mother would say, with the language, he is my little buddy, and I love him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I respect it. I've seen people that get. Me and Merlot have a little bit of a business relationship, and pretty much nothing more than that. But no, I respect it.
Yes.
There's a
also,
lot of,
we are bound by
there's a lot of cute shit at my table, so he'd just be competing if he had a personality.
Oh yes. That's Quill does in fact have a personality, but the more that the more that he seems to be embroiled in the depths of combat, the more he both he and I more of our violent tendencies come to light. When I first started out with my friends, I was a lot more altruistic and very much a positive figure. But the very instant I laid eyes on, are you familiar with vengeance, with the core concept?
Fully.
Well, I thought I was above revenge up until the moment when I was in the same room as one of the bastards. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to swear. My apologies. My mother always said it. Swearing well, she can swear, I can't. That's, I gotta be polite. But
you're an adult now. Ain't nobody here stopping you.
That is fair. But in the same room as one of the suspected individuals who may have had a hand in ruining my life, I wanted nothing more in that moment than to jam my sword, which actually was a nice gift from that aforementioned cleric. I wanted to absolutely annihilate him, and honestly, I've never been so consumed by anything in my entire life, other than that burning, coursing feeling and that desire to. Well, it was less. Can I tell you a secret?
Always.
It was. I felt enraged in that moment, for sure. I wanted him dead. But there was also another part of me, a much deeper and darker part of me, that not only wanted him dead, but wanted him to suffer. In the same way that I suffer, I wanted him to experience hell. And honestly, I haven't told any of my friends about those feelings, and they've only continued to get stronger the more and more I think about this Athan Thorn. He's a pirate lord from my world who runs these cities known as the Lanterns, and I fear that the more I delve into these negative emotions, it will empower me, but at the same time, I fear that I will lose some of the humanity my mother sacrificed so much for me to gain.
Well, you have to understand, or maybe not understand, or you'll get there. And your friends will probably help you with this along the way. I know mine have. They put things in perspective. Sometimes they call you stupid or an idiot or evil and make you rethink your actions. And that's a good thing. Revenge is way better when they don't die from it. When they can stew in it. So, like, any chance you get to... I'm not saying you don't kill them if the situation requires it. Maybe you have to kill them, but there's... one of my personal favorites, I've been kind of practicing it in my downtime, working on it, trying to get the hang of it. It's a complicated spell, but it's called Time Ravage, and it accelerates your aging until you're 30 days away from dying of old age. You're walking slow, you're doing things clumsily.
An interesting thought. I have an idea as well, as I am on the threshold of being able to cast a particular spell that I believe is the name, well, not the namesake of my specific school of study, but, well, I will tell you this now. I do plan on killing him, but, well, I don't plan to defile his body. I will make him do that himself, because I will reanimate his corpse and make him parade himself through town like a fool, and then throw himself off a cliff.
I think in those moments, when they're earned, it's probably best to be a little artistic about it. I think that's got plenty of flair. I like that.
Oh, yes. Yes, I plan to make everybody know what happens when they take things from me that I did not want taken.
Yeah. Kill him,
as it were.
Put his head in a room somewhere.
Exactly. Yes. I do have the well, I would need to kill the undead first before I can preserve his head. But yes. Oh, that is an excellent idea. I should keep his head as a trophy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes it's great. Sometimes the trophies fill up the trophy room, and I'll open up a demi-plane behind me, and there's 3 dragon heads just shoved inside this extra-dimensional space, just barely fit.
Oh, yes. What's that spell? Oh, I will need to learn that at some point. But yes, I guess it's a matter of storage at that point. But I suppose I could purify the remains so that it does not... You know what I could do?
Probably should have preserved those. They smell.
Yes. You know, flesh always rots, and it would always, as my mother would say, it would be a hassle to constantly cast gentle repose. But there is nothing, there is nothing gentle involving his death. So I will simply keep his skull. I feel that is more sanitary and easy to store.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When you get to it, when you get to that level of comprehension, I'd figure out a way. I need to, in such a bad way. I've got to figure out a way to like enchant a key ring or something. I've got to figure out an easier way to get into my demi-planes, because there's something about having one access of it a day that's really freaking inconvenient, because
yes,
I don't know about you, but my friends are always like, oh hey, can you grab that thing too? Right after I closed it. And I'm like, yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes. But yes, I believe my mother said the main difference between casting spells the normal way and magical items is that magical items and artifacts, they tend to be able to store magic more easily. So if I could give a recommendation, I believe you are indeed spot on with the enchanted keyring idea, though it would require a great deal of time, gold, and well, I mean, you sound like you have a lot of experience, so that should not be the most difficult part.
A lot of
but
experience
if you have,
and a lot of money.
Well, then you are then you should have everything you need to construct a magical item to those specifications. Though you might need some powerful reagents from some rather strong creatures. I don't know if you have any dragons where you're from, or any
3
stronger
dragon heads
creatures
in the closet. We just saw them.
Oh. Why not fashion a key ring out of their remains?
Oh, I
And then,
could fashion so many things out of them.
oh yes, there's a lot of bones. Bones are, you see, I'm actually in a bit of a conundrum, because I am just at the precipice of, as I said before, being able to command a legion of undead. And I wanted to get your thoughts on whether it is more prudent to have zombies versus skeletons.
Well, zombies are way easier to kill. Kinda. They just always come back, it seems like. Unless you got the right type of magic. Skeletons, on the other hand, they're a little more sturdy, a little harder to hit, because they're all bones, so there's, arrows go straight through them and stuff. But yeah, no, I could see. Well, can you mix it up, or are you limited to one flock? I'm not much of a summoner, so you take your word for it.
Well, I believe at the base level, the spell allows me to turn a corpse into a working, moving undead, essentially a loyal follower. But if I'm not mistaken, as I gain more and more power, I should be able to control even higher and greater number of powerful undead. I believe there are. I believe my mother mentioned several other spells. I believe the planar binding spell, that might be a useful spell to use on a powerful undead. While it could certainly be used on other creatures, I feel that I should stick within a specific
what would planar binding do to an undead? I've never messed with that one.
Well, as my mother described it, I believe that particular spell, if cast at a high enough, if you use enough magical power, it will basically allow you to, and I quote, enslave essentially any being that is not of this plane. At least for if you put as much magical power as a mortal could put into it, then they would be under your service for at least a year.
Oh shit!
The control would not be perfect. On the other hand, it would. They could still attempt to subvert your commands in any way possible. Should they be of fiendish or fey, they may not be inclined to serve as your thrall, as it were. well, not necessarily a thrall, more like it's
More
more
like
like
a
you
buddy. A buddy that's
Yes.
just magically compelled to be your buddy.
Yes, exactly the point. But I believe that now this is just theory in my on my end. There is the potential that a necromancer becomes so adept at controlling the undead that they gain the ability to essentially conscript any undead that well is unable to resist their power and effectively control them indefinitely.
Nifty.
Yes, and by my calculations, it would only work on one creature at a time, but still, like that one creature could be anything undead. It could even be something as outlandish or obscure as, say, potentially a shadow dragon.
Yeah.
Although,
Cow.
I've only heard of such creatures in bedtime stories my mother used to tell me, but
Oh,
she did say that they were undead.
I'm sure they're around on your world. There's a couple places where the Shadowfell likes to leak through. Your world's kind of Swiss cheese. It's kind of holy.
But yes, if I had to have control over an undead creature, I'd like it to fly, because that would make it extremely convenient for me and my companions.
Yeah, I there's just something about, like, flying is so much better than walking in every way, shape, or form.
Yes, absolutely. But there are so many spells that require you to focus on being able to fly. They only last a short while. Having someone else to do that for you, that is where you get. I imagine you would get the most mileage, at least as my mother would say.
And the trick to it, because I've had to fly myself a fairly long distances before. The trick to it is ballistic arcs. You just got to have a really good. If you're able to like just split your focus enough to count and maintain an accurate clock in your head while you're flying, you just fly up and make sure you're up as high as you can be when the spell ends, and then you cast it on your way down, and hopefully you're going to get a little bit out of that, and then you start up again. And then, so you're kind of, it's jumping. It's jumping at the very end, basically. You're just trying to squeeze out, and you can squeeze out an extra couple miles doing that over the course of...
I'm familiar with long-distance jumping. I recently received an upgrade that increased my strength several times over. And when you combine that with the jumping spell, it allows you to cover vast distances in the blink of an eye. It was very useful in a recent encounter with a ship that was in fact, they called it a ghost ship, but there was no actual ghosts, which is a bit of a misnomer, if you ask me.
Yeah, people do that a lot. They see something they don't understand, and then they tell a story about it, and that story becomes fact. And then we go try to solve these problems with information provided to us by idiots, and well, we're on the lower hand there.
Although there was one thing that was interesting about that particular encounter, and I've been thinking about it, but I haven't quite been able to put any meaningful pieces together. So I was wondering if I could get, being a fellow scholar, I was wondering if I could get your input. Well, you see, in the midst of the battle, and well, due to other circumstances, we discovered that that these individuals who were aboard this ship, they were not of their right mind, but they did have a strange technique that they used to assault our ship, which was the ability to take the this particular ship also had this strange substance that allowed the ship to float, the Volarus. But what was interesting was that they would shave this giant block with, I assume, some sort of carpenter's tools, down into these rounded spheres, and they would eject them using, I believe, it's the catapult spell.
Okay.
It allowed them to send it with extreme velocity and speed towards their location, and I can't quite understand why, but such an action resonated. It struck me. Well, not literally, as dead
Yeah,
from
right.
such an attack. But thinking about it, I mean, it was fast. Like, very fast. It was able to cover about a distance of, by my calculations, 90 feet in the span of 6 seconds, which is incredible. But could it not be faster somehow?
Well, for sure. It's pretty genius
Possibly.
too. You see all kinds of stuff in naval warfare where they will do anything possible to, because I mean, when you're fighting another boat on the water, right, the easiest solution to that other boat is to make that other boat not be on the water anymore. So if you can sink her, that's the way to do it. Personally, I like the idea of just teleporting and being sneaky and a little fabricate, and then you've got a 5-10 foot hole on the bottom of their boat. And just let the problem solve itself. But you can figure out a way to sometimes they make I'm a little bit of a hobbyist in the chemical lab. I don't mess with it too often, but I've got a little setup in my tower. Have you ever made a volcano out of baking soda and vinegar?
Not. I watched my mother uproot a tree with a spell once, and it sent up several stories into the sky. Does that count?
No, this is what I like to call analog magic. This is it's a white powdery substance that you don't want to snort up your nose, and
Good thing I do not possess a nose.
when you take vinegar, which is a natural acid, I'm not sure if they make vinegar on your world, but it's produced by aging grapes or other fruit. Not quite like when you would make a wine, but similar. And putting them together, the combination makes a chemical reaction that causes a violent bubbling and foaming. It kind of produces a foam. What the important thing is that the liquid and the powdery substance drastically increase their volume over a chemical reaction. So what you could try to do is find a pairing of reactive elements on your world that do react well together, and maybe try and contain that in a vessel that directs your object.
Yes, but in order for such an object, in order for that to truly be, well, if that was simply it by itself, the reaction, it would need something to guide that reaction. Or rather, some way to direct it, possibly with some sort of cylindrical apparatus. It's all theory to me at this point, but for some reason I just keep coming.
You would need to pressurize it, and you could probably finagle your pressure vessel to be a good enough directive force if you've got a substantial enough chemical reaction, I would assume. You just kind of have to figure something out that works like that. So you to me, the immediate thing would be something that reacts with an explosive byproduct. So possibly like I've seen spores before that when they get wet, they create there's something going on with it, but the way that it kind of works is that these spores kind of they're explorers, and when they get wet, their cells collapse, like almost fully, expelling all water. And what is really in there is just all the air that comes out from those gaps in between those cells. So when they get wet, they create a puff of air. And if you've got enough spores together and enough water, they make an explosion of air.
And that explosion, hypothetically, if you were to, say before the spores went off, put a small, round, metallic object that was just light enough to be propelled by this sudden...
Metal, stone, pretty much anything, really.
And hypothetically speaking, if you applied the same technology used to make a spell scroll...
Yeah, and hypothetically, if you can put an object in it, you can put a person in it. That's what you do with that halfling that you didn't hook up with.
Ah, yes. Well, well, I was not interested, but I think he attempted to kill me before fleeing the streets naked, which I find to be endlessly humorous.
It's not funny, that's for sure. There's something hilarious about just a tiny little dick just running out there freezing itself off.
Oh, yes, but he's dead now. We took care of him the following day.
Well, that's good. That's good. You don't want to wait, too long without knowing if he likes you or not. You want to find out right away.
Well, yes. My my friend Melee coated him with a sticky substance, and then my other friend Calandra, my other friends Calandra and Hunter, beat him to death while he was engulfed in this strange sticky substance. And I just did I just make it innuendo?
I don't know, but it sounds like a fucking awesome Thursday night to me. Like
it sounds more like a Wednesday to me.
Well, I mean, whatever day you feel like being a bunch of consenting adults in a hotel room you're going to destroy, I mean, you just go nuts.
Oh, yes. Although it was technically on a roof, it was not in a building.
The important thing is you never do that shit in your own home.
Yes. I believe the saying is, do not shit where you eat, is what my mother would say.
Well, yeah. Or a vast number of other things that should be avoided where you eat. But yeah, you're pretty much...
Although I do not technically need to eat. But I still do, recreationally. It's quite fun.
Yeah, I hear that. I used to have this little box that printed out bacon just as much as you wanted. You just pull a piece out, pull another piece out, pull another piece out. And you could like adjust the gemstone on the front of it to set the level of doneness on it. I gave that to our cleric so that she'd stop throwing shit at me when I try to wake her up in the mornings. It's a dangerous occupational hazard. But the way I look at it, it's like, alright, I could wake you up with the promise of breakfast prepared by my badger army, or just throwing it out there, I can collapse my extra dimensional tower and just shit you out. Like, I'm being nice.
Interesting. Yeah. You have two different ways of disposing of waste. Most interesting.
100%.
I, on the other hand, am 100% efficient and produce no waste. Hence why I do not have an anus.
Oh, you're a Catholic robot.
I'm unfamiliar with the term Catholic, but I will take your word all the same.
It's a religion on a world I ran across where they're convinced that if you're a true follower of the faith, you should not need to defecate.
That sounds very painful. Although, again, I have no frame of reference as I do not produce waste.
Wait, so you eat stuff, but you don't
Yes.
produce waste. How does that work?
Well, my esophagus is, instead of connected to a stomach, it is directly connected to my core, which incinerates all matter that is taken into it, and to some capacity allows it to fuel my auxiliary functions.
Oh, so... Fuck. So there's not like a hatch on you that's just full of potato pulp?
No.
God damn it.
Yes. My body uses every ounce of everything that I consume. Although,
Can we
if you were
install
wondering,
that hatch for you? Like, it'd make me feel better.
I feel no need to create any unnecessary entrances in my body, but.
This is where our conversation is. Fuck yeah.
I can't install a butthole.
You do you, but with power of polymorph, you can do whatever you want.
Tom doesn't want to create any weaknesses. So
You really want to figure out. If you really want to figure out the solution for loneliness, simulacrum.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I'll make that simulacrum. The only difference being he has a butthole.
Well, you don't. All right, so it's that time of day again, guys, where we have to take a moment to examine Rust and Tome's wall of questionable enchantment spells, or just questionable spells in general.
To create butthole spells.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on the situation, you don't have to be willing. I just have to keep you immobile for 12 hours to make a simulacrum of you.
Oh no.
So, you know, consent doesn't have to play into it, which is extremely dangerous, and that's why I've
when
never...
does consent play into any fucking... half the fucking spells in the, like, the enchantment spell list?
Well, yeah, I mean, it figures into a fair amount of spells, but it's like, I'm going to go 500 feet over there. Do you want to come with me? Yes or no? You know.
Yeah, then there's fucking spells like suggestion, where like if you're just broad enough, then you can just be like all right, I want you to go in that field. You know, it's a real great activity right now, jumping up and down. You really want to jump up and down for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Just go in that field and burn off all that energy, and maybe by the end you'll have done your cardio for the day, and also won't want to murder me.
Or if you do want to murder me, I'm going to be 12 hours away.
Yeah. Or however long it takes me to get away.
Realistically, probably like 5.5 feet, because I'm going to get distracted and like.
Oh yes.
But
and then you get into the like the major gaslighting spells like mass suggestion, where you just point at like a bunch of people and just be like, you're all gonna cluck like chickens.
I was looking through my bag here, because I do that sometimes when I get bored, or when other people are talking and I don't want to interrupt and be rude. My friend Agni says that sometimes I do that and sometimes it's rude. So I wanted to. We got a couple minutes here, and we got what
Yes.
I can only assume are extremely good approximations of our stuff, if they're not the real stuff. So I wanted to spend a couple minutes and teach you a little magic.
Oh,
I got something that maybe could be handy for you. Something that maybe is a little rare on your world.
okay. I am very much interested.
Yeah. I will I will teach you, and to the point I will teach you this. You are able to include this on your spell list. I'm going to teach you Fortune's Favor, which is it's a divination spell technically, but it kind of falls under the branch of magic that I specialize in a little bit called Dunamancy, where with this spell you can, and you'll need one of these too, and I think I have, let me check, yes, I have, pick a color, Tome, black or pink?
Can it be purple?
I just have black and pink.
I guess black is the color of my School of Magic, so I will take black.
Alright, so I will hand you a necklace with 7 black pearls on it. And I will go ahead and teach you the verbal and somatic for the spell. It will eat the pearl, so you kind of have to make, it's it can be expensive if you don't kind of make it count, but it's pretty brilliant. I use it on myself a fair amount for situations where I'd really like to like if I'm getting into a fist fight with somebody. I'm not good at fist fighting, so I want to know that I want to be able to like dodge a punch that's coming or something like that. It's not concentration, which is fantastic, and the effects stick around for a little bit. Normally I don't. I've been putting it on myself lately just because I could use a little bit of an edge in certain situations, but normally I like to hook my friends up with it before they're about to go off on their own and do something incredibly stupid that I will most likely have to go save their life from. I generally like to give them a little bit of help, and it's help I don't have to focus on,
Very interesting. This will be helpful in my future endeavors. If you wish to be better at fist fights, you should. I have recently gained access to the Inflict Wound spell, and I use it to punch an alligator man. It's quite effective.
Punched an alligator in the dick.
Oh yes. Well, not an alligator, more like an alligator man. I also use suggestion on the alligator man's pet, and I told him that there was a very tasty red fish somewhere in the ocean. Needless to say, I think that kept him busy for the next 8 hours.
So what I'm hearing from you is that there's an alligator out there somewhere that has an origin story and a beef. The adventuring party that's coming after you has started forming, my friend.
Yes. Well, if it's simply just an alligator, I have the feeling that I will be having a very nice belt or boots in my future.
I mean, you can start off life as an alligator, but I'll go find him. What's his name? Terry?
I don't think he had a name. I think he made threatening noises towards my group, and I waved my hand, and he simply, as my mother would so aptly say, fuck off, into the ocean.
Sometimes you gotta do that.
Yes, as it were.
If you ever, this is another thing for down the road, but when you get to it, there's no end to the amount of fun you can have with it. Telekinesis is a great spell. It's got weird limitations on it. I think the people that created the spell back in the day, they had way too many ethics and morals going on, and it just gets in the way of the fun. But when you pick somebody up with the spell, you can only, you can't move them very fast. But you can manipulate up to 1,000 pounds dry weight. So if you don't pick somebody up, all you got to do is you just make a sled out of the telekinesis and just as hard as you can right at him.
Yes, as they say, into the stratosphere.
Transfer force. Like,
Oh yes.
I like to any chance I can involve physics and magic. It's so much better.
Yes, I have. Yes, my specialty lies less in the abstract and more in physical. Well, I suppose in the abstract in regards to life and death, but it's more of a focus on. Subjugation is such a. I mean, they need to be alive for that to be the case. But in the case of the practice of necromancy, generally, the greatest strength of a necromancer is, well, the very fact that you can have, well, just an army of people, which I do plan to amass once I'm able to get a better grasp on such magics. But
yeah, that's cool. I need to broaden my horizons and play with some summoning magic every once in a while.
Have you considered creating a golem?
No, I haven't. I need to. The only thing I've ever done is I hired a child army accidentally on purpose one time.
As you do, yes.
So we just showed up in this town one time, and like pretty much right away, immediately, this fucking group of little shitheads just was pickpocketing the hell out of my party. So I decided to skip the middleman, as it were, and I'm like, hey, kids, come here. I'll give you all a shit ton of money if you never fucking steal from me ever again.
Interesting. Yes. See, it is a bit... See, that is why I believe having undead is, as followers is great, because they do not need to be bribed.
Yeah, and getting robbed is about the worst thing possible. There's just so much stuff that I have on my person that, like,
yes,
like I got this cool sword, and even this sword, this super cool sword. Some random kid just picked this up. They could literally chop off their buddy's head. Like, an effect of this sword is it measures your intent, and if your intent matches up with, I don't know, something that it likes about the way that you swung the sword, it will not miss cutting off your head.
Very interesting. Yeah. My blade is a bit less impressive by contrast. Although it does. Does your blade have a name?
I kind of think it might have. I don't know what it is. I just call it the Ebony Blade because it's black. Like, I think it might have belonged to a vampire lord, if I'm not mistaken. The important point is that there's a bard in my party named Philip, and he's the reason why I have the sword, is because he just under no circumstances can be allowed to have the sword, because that thing with cutting off your buddy's head. Yeah, there's a lot of saving them from themselves.
Have you considered attempting to listen to what it wants?
No.
Well, that is actually how I learned my blade's name. You see, Rust, was it?
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
You see, as I'm being a manufactured object myself in a previous iteration, all objects, to some extent, have a purpose and a desire. For example, a blade desires to cut. A rapier has a desire to stab. An arrow has a desire to puncture.
Okay. Everything
in this world has a clear desire and intent. And all that in my case, my intent and my desire was to serve my well, I called her my master at the time, but she is indeed my mother, as I am a being with a soul. Now, I didn't before, but we all have these innate desires. And one other desire we have is the desire to be heard and understood. And when I first put my when I tapped Hellheim, well, that's the name of my blade. When I first tapped it against my skull, I heard nothing else except its expression of itself, its true self, which can be heard in all things. Everything has a breath. Everything has a heart. It's just a matter of, well, being able to hear it. I suppose, in my case, it comes easier due to the fact that I was a manufactured object and I understand such principles. But if you listen hard enough, you will hear something. You will hear its voice.
Huh. Well, that's just
I believe that is
too, because your sword knew its own name, and it's a name, interestingly, of a place I've been to that doesn't exist on your world. That is wild.
That is fascinating, yes.
Yeah, I've actually been to Helheim. It sucked. I died to go there. They snapped my neck.
Interesting.
It sucked.
That was
10 out of 10. Don't recommend. Don't go back. Would not do it. Sucked. Looked like it was cold. Not cold. Very hot.
Yes. I will also say that a lot of objects, Helheim was not, well, it was the name I helped my sword obtain. A lot of the time when an object is mundane, this was before my friend bestowed its boon upon it that made it magical in the first place. A lot of objects simply, they do possess a voice, but they don't know what to do with it.
Kind of shy.
So you have to introduce the idea of various different names, and when you hit the right one, that is when it will acknowledge that, yes, I am this. I am, in the same way that that's how I chose my name.
It's a shame animated objects doesn't make them able to talk.
Well, now, if you really want to get into the science behind talking objects, my mother actually did an extended thesis on the principle behind sentient weapons in particular.
Okay.
Which is that in a lot of cases, as I'm sure you've experienced as your time being throughout your career as a wizard, typically a lot of objects, the more powerful ones, are imbued with the souls of other individuals, whether as a means of acting as a sort of reagent to increase their power, or as a means of, in some cases, imprisoning them. But in some rare cases, extremely rare cases, and this is what she campaigned for in regards to my creation, is the idea that an object can gain a will and sentience of its own if certain conditions and criteria are met. In my case, I didn't have a soul to begin with. I simply was a sort of, I believe, for lack of a better term, program that was, well, that had to learn how to talk, how to walk in like a normal human infant would, and while I did indeed possess the ability of speech to talk to like, everything, I didn't quite have the capacity to feel, to make my thoughts, my inner thoughts heard and understood. I understood core concepts like say for example that water is wet, that it gets when the sun goes down it gets cold, such like that. I could register basic concepts such as that, but I couldn't understand or grasp greater, more theoretical things such as the concept of, say, emotions, or the idea of love, hate, fear, anger. None of those things registered to me at all. Until, well, a specific level of strain was put under me, which I suspect was the impetus for my consciousness, the person that I am now. Although that in and of itself would not grant me the ability to use magic, because what is magic directly tied to? The soul.
Well, and I think, at least this is the way I look at it, a person can't necessarily create a soul. Even if you had all the power in the universe, a person doesn't do that. I think a being with all the power in the universe does do that quite frequently, and that's what we see as deities. There are multiple of them around both of our worlds. They create a circumstance that allows a soul to come into being. It's very likely that your soul was congealed out of a necessity that wasn't necessarily meant for you to understand ever, but is for something higher to understand. Something likely, this is just me spitballing here, but it seems like if you having a soul is such an oddity on your world, it seems like, I mean, that's divine intervention, is it not? I don't have the best relationship with deific forces myself, but my gods are kind of assholes. I don't know how yours are. They don't like to talk to foreigners.
Well, there are many factors that certainly do line up. While as unsavory as this is to talk about, my mother sealed me away in a sort of, I believe the term that humans would use is annex space. It was fortified with abjuration magic, to such a degree that even those with divination magic able to detect things wouldn't be able to find it. And essentially, I was to, as a failsafe, remain there indefinitely until such a time as I was found, in order to protect everything that my mother had sought to work on. But be it a sort of quirk of fate, she was dragged into the space, well, close to the space where I was in, and they did horrible things to try and get her to admit where I was, and she never did. And
no,
in what I assumed she thought was her final moments, she essentially told this powerful entity to, and if I may use the colorful language she did, to go fuck himself, and that you will never have my son. And it was those words in particular that I felt a sort of, I guess, for lack of a better term, pull, this strain, this desire, this need. And all at once, the programming that she instilled with me to remain silent and not to reveal myself under any circumstances broke. And, well, I took an attack that was meant to kill her, and it propelled us out the tower. We got to safety. I thought I was going to die. Well, I wasn't fully formed at the time. I don't think. That entire memory is a bit hazy, but I remember feeling this sense of fulfillment, completeness, these strange alien things that I still didn't quite have a grasp on, but I knew in that moment that I had done something meaningful, something right. And I felt, I think now that I think back on it, I felt peace at that I had managed to save not my master, but my mother. I managed to save her. And then I woke up, and she was falling to pieces. I don't know what she did, Russ. I truly, whether it was, as you say, divine intervention from some higher power, or by her own hands, I don't know what she did.
It's hard to say, because I've done things that my friends would call impossible, and I've seen them do things that I might have called impossible the day before. It's hard to say what comes from our own two hands and what comes with a little help from outside. I don't think that discredits our contribution to it, though. I think we're
But it just means that I can't let whatever happened go to waste. Whether it
If
was...
it's any consolation, don't ask me how I know, but 100% certainty I can tell you that if you had the ability to go back and change it, it wouldn't make anything better.
No, it would not.
Unfortunately, as much as we wanted to think it is, generally doesn't.
Yes, I honestly don't... I'm aware that resurrection magic exists, but to be honest, I don't feel comfortable ever facing her again until I have surpassed her fully. Until I have achieved my dream.
Fair enough. And, you know, not for nothing, sometimes I've seen resurrections performed flawlessly. Sometimes the soul just is done. They're happy as to. They see that their legacy lives on, whatever that means to them, and they fade on. Let us continue. There's always a way to perspective things to not feel so down about the world.
Yes.
That's one trick I like to use. The other trick is if it doesn't work too much, you can, there's a couple really, really sweet spells out there. I learned from an interesting spellcaster on your world, actually, this cool little trick. You ever wake up in the morning and just feel like there's just no point in going through the rest of the day? It's boring. You'd rather it be tomorrow already.
I don't sleep, but go on.
You just cast Speak with Other Plane 3 or 4 times in a row, and all of a sudden, you're crazy for the rest of the day. Just bug nuts insane. Just lock your spell book away before you cast it the last time so you don't do any permanent damage and you're good.
I don't think that would be wise.
It's never wise, but sometimes it's what you need.
Fair enough, I suppose. Although I would need to, yes, I would need to have my companions take away my magical objects. Although even then, I might still be a problem because as I mentioned before, my strength has increased several times over from what it was.
Yeah.
Physically, I mean, as well as magically.
Yeah. Strength isn't everything. Sometimes, but I completely understand what you mean. You don't, but even with your enhanced strength, you're probably, I wouldn't want to get punched by you, but I could survive it.
Yes, but this new strength has opened a new avenue in terms of, well, typically spellcasters of my ilk do not trouble themselves with armaments, other than the mage armor spell. However, as I am a creation of metal, I feel this strange desire to, armor myself, as it were. And once I have found the specific armor that I am searching for, and it meets my specifications, I will begin study of it alongside, hopefully, someone who can instruct me, and eventually, I technically do not wear clothing. I can wear clothing, but when it comes to armor, I would need to incorporate it into my body. It would effectively increase my mass several times over.
Well, that'd be just... I'm really praying that your friends keep you on the straight and narrow, because I am super terrified of the either extreme, really.
Yes, I have been known to be to fit that adjective of terrifying. Yes.
Yeah, my friend Dagny, she likes to say that I'm evil pretty much every time I suggest anything. So, I'm mostly just razzing you a little bit, but yeah.
Yes. Well, my mother said there was a quote from an old sailor a long time ago. Well, it's the idea that justice changes shape depending on where you're standing. To some, an action may seem cruel and unjustified. To another, it may seem like the only course of action. And that is the philosophy that I find myself, well, indulging in these days. I decide what I feel is the right thing to do.
Yeah, you just want
and
to.
Whether that is,
you just want to
yes.
figure out a way to. Everybody needs a solid peer review process. That's the way I look at life, right? Maybe you don't necessarily, but the way I look at it is, I am writing a detailed scientific paper of my life, and every once in a while, when I want to write something down, it's really important to get somebody else to look at it and be like, "Hey, this is right?" So you just want to find somebody that you can use as a touchstone to be like, okay, did we go too far? Okay, no, we're good. Okay, cool. You just want to find that waystone that can guide you through the light, because every once in a while you need it. Even somebody like me that is made out of soft stuff.
I do take the advice of my friends into account on most. In fact, one of the people I go to the most is the aforementioned man, Adrian, the elf man who found the woods in the first place. A lot of my colloquial and general knowledge of the world has indeed come from him. And while in some cases he's taught me some less than savory lessons about the world, I feel that it is necessary to gain a variety of different perspectives. And I've also learned, interestingly enough, from my other dear friend, Calandra, the idea that, when someone hurts you and when someone wrongs you, they don't necessarily deserve any more chances. Some people do, some people don't. It all depends on perspective, I suppose.
Perspective.
There was
things are a case by case basis. Little girl steps on your foot in line for the street vendor cart. We don't need to disintegrate her. We can just say, "Sweetie, you stepped on my foot. Don't do that again." Sometimes people kill our mothers, and we end their
have to annihilate them. Yes.
Yeah.
And everything they represent, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. Life is a spectrum.
Yes. And, well, to be honest, a lot of the time, I've been indulging in what I believe the humans use the term whims. Just, for example, there was while on the road to this town that we spent a great amount of time into, we were ambushed by a group of bandits hailing from there. I believe they were attempting to assassinate the person who sent us there, who was the aforementioned Adam Thorn, who I was forced to work for a brief period of time due to me attempting to kill him.
Yeah, okay.
And him sparing us on that condition.
No, I get it.
There was
politics get messy.
We slaughtered all the would-be bandits. We dug their shallow graves. But there was one man in particular that didn't die immediately. His name was Chol Stonefist. And as I saw him bleeding out his last on the battlefield, I thought to myself, is this a person that needs to die? And for some unknown reason, a voice inside of me that was similar to my own said, no, not quite yet. And we managed to arrange... Yes.
I think it might have been your own, buddy.
Well, it may have been the other... Do you remember when I said that I felt this strange pull when I felt my mother was about to die? in that particular moment, which was in the grand scheme of things only a handful of seconds, I wasn't alone. Because there was my programming, which was essentially all that I was, and there was me. There was the real me, I believe, is what I would call it. It essentially demanded that I take action. I said I could not, and we had this back and forth for what, as I said, what felt like several days, but from the grand scheme of things, only was a few seconds.
Yeah, that's,
and eventually,
that's called a conscious. People have that. That's a people thing.
Oh,
it's an inner voice that tells you, don't do that. No, it's okay to do that. It's the voice that tries to get you to eat the deviled egg on the windowsill. It's the voice that says, hey, let's call our ex-girlfriend at 3 a.m. It's sending, she has to wake up for it. That type of stuff. It can be good and it can be bad. We just have to kind of learn which version we're talking to, and then you're on the right place. And it sometimes it's the same thing as when you're just in a fight on a boat. You said, you got things flying at you, bad guys trying to attack you. It can be kind of scary to stand up and stand in the middle of that stuff when there's, and you gotta kind of hype yourself up. You're like, shit, yep, we're doing this, it's time. And then you get up and start blasting.
Yes.
So, you gotta... it's all about Tai Chi in your own head.
Yes, but as I was saying, in regards to this Stonefist man, we struck up a deal, and I believe he is currently in Marglin assisting with the restoration of the town, which I have decided. And I wanted to get an opinion on something, because it's been bothering me for some time.
What's up?
Well, it's not that I dislike the leader of this town. The what was he called again? It doesn't matter.
Oh,
the leader of this.
The Margrave of Marglin?
The Margrave.
What his
the
name
Margrave
is off the top of my head.
The Margrave. In my opinion, he's done as good of a job as he could, but I don't want to say he's an incompetent leader, but
well, has he been in the position very long, or is he new to it?
I think it's been like 10 years, I think. It's the last thing. I might be mistaken.
Above the table, I do remember he was very new. He replaced Valemore, who was the previous Margrave.
Oh yeah. In the grand scheme of things, he's very new, and while I personally have no interest in politics, as it were, I do have an interest in efficiency, and well, I could say that his leadership style is suboptimal. Well, I think is the word that I would use.
He's new, maybe worth the benefit of the doubt, or I don't mess with politics too much at all. Somebody handed me the deed to a town one time, and I was like, this is odd. So I just gave it to the first homeless guy I could find.
Yes, but in some aspects, I think the town would do better under a different sort of leadership. But possibly. I've mostly been keeping this to myself, as again, it's more of an objective sort of lens, I suppose I'm viewing this. It's more that I don't particularly dislike the Margrave. It's more just I see the state that the town is in, and I think could this be done maybe a bit better?
Well, you said he's pretty new. You think he maybe inherited some of that trouble from his predecessor and maybe
Potentially.
maybe got overwhelmed? I don't know.
Perhaps, but it's something to address once I get back into town. I've come into a substantial amount of coin that I plan into funneling into the city's infrastructure in order to improve the living situation of the people in there.
Yeah.
I'm also unsure of what to do with the. Well, there's an individual who we suspect has taken the place of the owner of a prominent silver mine in the town, and I'm wondering what could be done with that, because while I believe someone wished to have leadership over it, to be honest, I don't really trust anybody to effectively run such a enterprise. So I believe that is something that I can address once the culprit of several orchestrated events in that town has been dealt with. It can be addressed, but to be honest, at the moment, I'm more focused on revenge.
Yeah, that's a pickle of a thing, because, man, I don't have, like, I've got the mind for numbers and formulas and runes and glyphs and stuff like that, but I don't got the mind to start managing infrastructure and budgets and all that stuff. That sounds god awful.
Yes, well, I call it a quirk of being formerly being just a simple machine. I do find myself fascinated with numbers, figures, and such. I don't. As I said, my goal is to become one of the strongest magic users, if not the strongest entity in my world. So that doesn't necessarily go hand in hand with political power, but if I had to manage a civilization, I'd certainly delegate it to someone underneath
Take
me.
it from one person with a lot of power to another. You never have to.
That's true. You did mention the simulacrum spell. That actually would simplify things a bit.
You think so, but they really just end up being exactly like you, and it's endearing in certain situations. In certain situations, it's not very useful. Although, simulacrum and disguise self and some careful planning has destroyed empires before, so, I mean...
It's true.
Take with that what you will.
Yes, in some aspects I think that the entire continent of Borealia would be much safer if it was under better leadership.
Well...
Whose leadership? Who can say? But...
leadership everywhere I've been has always left something to be desired. It's generally speaking always the common folk that are just doing the best they can in spite of their leaders. That's generally the way I've seen it.
Yes. If I could find a way to empower the people.
Well, yeah. You gotta... It takes a little bit more than empowering them. You gotta rile them up in just the right ways around something that's worth riling people up about.
Oh no, I meant physically. Physically empowering them. In the sense that you provide them with a level of either magic or technology that would allow them to dramatically enhance their quality of life and living.
Well, yeah.
Thereby elevating them to a certain aspect above certain others, individuals who do not have access to those resources. I suppose would be the way to go. But again, at the moment I am focused entirely on avenging my mother's death. But
yeah, no, that's a good idea. It's a good idea, and till a certain extent, and you're gonna run into an inflation problem or a proliferation problem, where if you're providing goods to elevate the common folk. There was a Earth TV program I watched one time. They pitched the idea of one laptop, which is some type of electronic processing unit.
So like me.
One of you per child, and they then quickly realized that it turned into one of you per child soldier, or one of you per each child soldier for each dictator, that type of thing. So it's not without flaws, but at least it pushes the problem down the road.
Yes.
I think if I was ever going to do something like that, I would get it started and then get the fuck out of it. The more my ideas are allowed to proliferate and get weirder, they get weirder.
That is a good point. But hypothetically, if you were to have enough undead or constructs at your command, you would have no need for to put your faith in. How do I less than I don't want to say perfect beings, but flawed individuals who have strange ambitions outside of.
You, I'd say, have a lot more faith in yourself than I, as one of those flawed individuals, do, because I don't know that there's ever a situation where I trust my own mind without check. I think I learned that a fair bit when a lot of my nemesis over those last few months was a ancient and extremely powerful version of myself that I might have created.
Well, that is just the thing, my friend. I don't want to toot my own horn, but as an entity that...
have a horn to toot?
I think Melee has one, but I would have to borrow it.
We've got to get one of those installed on YouTube. That's another project for another day.
Another project, yes. But that's the thing about not having the ability to age, is that as long as I am not outright killed, I will only gain more and more and more and more power ad infinitum for eternity. So I can successfully ensure that I am the apex force in my world specifically. I have no desire to explore ultimate ones.
You say that now, but it's pretty darn fun.
I get, you did say something about boredom.
Yeah,
so that is something to take into account.
It is a powerful driving force. I will tell you that.
Yes.
Also, another thing is that you think that, and this is where that boredom comes back in. You think that you think that I'm immortal. I'll gain power without level, without limit, and sure enough, you're gonna find a very quick plateau that you can't get past.
That is indeed true.
It's just, I can't, for whatever reason, I've climbed at an exponential rate all the way up until this moment, but it's like there's just no step. There's no 21st floor. Why isn't that?
That is... I should clarify. I want to gain this strength not to subjugate, but in order to ensure order. Effectively, I will, not to say I will stop conflicts, just like wars outright. It's more just I will take the side of good at every opportunity.
There you go. That's the way to be. I was gonna say,
and I will annihilate anything that has the potential to, say, be evil or cause a problem. Well, not to say that I won't target specific races for. We're getting we're getting into some dangerous territory. But needless to say,
anytime you decide to purge the world of halflings, people have a problem with it.
But they're so short.
We just have to acknowledge and accept that halflings and gnomes are essentially the same thing, and one of them's just a little more nerdy.
That is indeed true. But yes.
Wait, I was just looking at this hourglass I've got sitting here, and I think we are about done. Due to the way that things work in this weird little extra-dimensional space, guys, we are not sure when we're going to be back here, but I do know that we have something scheduled for when we return. We're going to take a crack at fixing my jug and figuring out why it only holds mayonnaise. And we'll see what else we get up to. Same time, same channel on the UpCast, guys. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Bye, guys. See ya.
I cast teleport.
I can't. I guess I'm just walking.